Lightyear recommendation. I'll throw it back to myself, but John, anything else?
I think there's a snake in my boots. I don't know. You want to check it out after the video?
I really don't. Is that...
What is up, Pixar fans? Welcome back to my channel. I have seen Lightyear. Today we are going to talk about it. It's not the origin story I wanted. That's Mrs. Nesbit.
You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit. Snap out of it, Buzz.
Just kidding. If you guys are here and you want to come back this weekend, we are ranking all of the Pixar movies, but before then, we have to talk about Lightyear. Is it good? Let's do it. While spending years attempting to return home, marooned Space Ranger Buzz Lightyear encounters an army of ruthless robots commanded by Zurg, who are attempting to steal his fuel source. Directed by Angus MacLane, who is an animator on numerous Toy Story projects, and starring Chris Evans as the title character, this movie is rated PG for action and peril, but nothing too much that the kids can handle. It's definitely intended for families. I think it hits that mark. And before I get into my fleshed out thoughts, I want to give you guys my immediate reaction walking out of the theater with John, the Flick Pick. Austin, take it away.
All right, so we just got out of Lightyear, and I wanted to get John's thoughts. The Flick Pick, you guys can find him anywhere and everywhere, but what did you think of this movie, man? First thoughts.
I love me some Toy Story, and going into this, I had reservations. I was like, please don't undo anything Toy Story already did.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm happy to say this sort of just adds to it. Going back in time, it adds a little something to it without being too on the nose.
I completely agree. And there was something, and you mentioned this in your reaction, but there was something he said at the beginning, before the movie started. It happened almost immediately, and this was something we wanted to see, and that set the movie off on a beautiful pace. So many interesting, couple twists and turns. Now, it's a little familiar, and there were some things in the third act where I was like, okay, maybe I enjoyed the first half just a bit more, but in terms of a space adventure with a little bit of a Star Trek feel, what'd you think about that?
I would say the third act, there's a little bit of a Star Wars vibe.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think if you're a kid and you like Buzz Lightyear, this is a good Buzz Lightyear movie. I don't know what else they could have done.
Sure. That's a good point. It's like, what else do you do with Buzz Lightyear other than what they did in this movie? And if that's the case, that's exactly what it needed to be. So in my opinion, it was the movie that maybe not I expected it to be, but what it needed to be. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It was actually a pleasant surprise, easy to watch. Yeah. And if I had kids, I would take them to see this.
Did you have any issues with Chris Evans instead of Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear?
He was perfect, though I will say very Captain America-esque at times. I like the motto and the message of the movie.
Sure.
I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too, and I think at the end of the day, you take your family, you take your kids. It's not like the most highly intelligent Pixar film, but it didn't need to be. That would have been too much, in my opinion.
I feel like it's almost easier to watch than Toy Story 3.
Oh! Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
4. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Forgive me. Yes,
Yep.
Toy Story 4. Yes.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely,
think you're right on there. So, Lightyear recommendation. I'll throw it back to myself, but John, anything else?
I think there's a snake in my boots. I don't know.
I want to say thanks to John for doing that with me, but John had some major hesitations going into this film, and what he mentioned prior to going in, I don't think I want to say it here because not everyone knows this is the case just yet. It's the opening shot of the film, and we're like, okay, if that's the case, if that's what this movie is, then we're both on board with that. And from there, you get kind of exactly what you expect with a Space Ranger film. Now, I know a lot of people want to pull out the animated movie or animated film card of, oh, we've already seen this. Pixar didn't have a big hand in that film, even though I kind of grew up loving it. I was willing to see what Lightyear was going to offer us. And again, you look at this mid-1990s style of sci-fi animation, and sure, the actual animation is 2022 level because it's beautiful. The landscapes, the backgrounds, the fact that they're able to go into space, and watching this movie in IMAX, watching that screen expand every time Buzz shot into space, you know, whether it be hyperspeed or anything along those lines, it looked incredible. incredible. So I'm absolutely okay with the animation going beyond being what feels like a mid-90s sci-fi action movie. But where I was headed with that is it draws those Star Trek and Star Wars type moments, meaning the interactions between the characters feel very much like that. Just the voyage in itself at the beginning of the movie, going to these planets, one in particular, and attempting to find something, right? There's a mission here, but then that mission goes awry. And how is Buzz and his partner and the rookie going to deal with this problem? And that's what sets us off on our adventure. An adventure that had so many more emotional levels in the first half than I anticipated. Now we'll get into the second half, and right off the bat, I will admit, I think the first half is more compelling, and I'm going to make this comparison right now. It has interstellar vibes. I don't want to go any deeper than that, but watching this progress, and so unexpected, and Pixar, they do this. They're good at this. Unexpected for a movie built for families and built for kids to enjoy. And there's the humor that appeals heavily to kids and all throughout the movie, but there's also a nice amount of humor for adults and those compelling moments, and one in particular where some tears are shed on screen, but they're also shed off screen. I can hear the sniffles in my crowd of critics, but I think audiences will be the same way. A lot of this comes from the voice performances. Uzo Aduba as Alicia Hawthorne, kind of his partner in crime, and the fact that it progresses in the way that it does is, again, just an incredible amount of unexpected storytelling from Pixar. You have Keke Palmer as Izzy Hawthorne, who is peppy and upbeat, ready to go on this mission surrounded by her crew. You have Dale Souls as Darby, Taika Waititi as Mo. I love Taika. You guys know I'm a massive fan of his work. Maybe the most replaceable of the supporting cast members in terms of their voices. I know, it caught me off guard a little bit. That could be because it's more of a replaceable character, but it could also be the comedic relief that comes from another character, Peter Son, who plays Socks. Oh my God, the 180 my brain took while watching this movie, because when we first see Socks, I'm like, okay, it's going to be an annoying side character that only appeals to kids. Nope, it's a hilarious side character that had the adults laughing. We all agreed walking out of the theater, Socks is the MVP of this movie. Taking nothing away from Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear, because the guy did exactly what he needed to do as Buzz Lightyear. The emotion, the enthusiasm, and the best part of it is I wasn't sorely missing Tim Allen. And it made sense for me, right? This is a toy based off of a movie, and oftentimes in real life, we have different actors voicing the toys compared to the ones in the actual movie. Now, if they ever do a Woody movie, are they going to pass up on Tom Hanks? I don't know. Maybe this is a bogus explanation, but it didn't bother me as much because I love Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. But in movie form, I think Chris Evans, that enthusiasm and just what he brought to the role, felt very Captain America-ish, like John said, but it didn't bother me. He has all those one-liners. Where did he get those? Well, we get callbacks and references in this film. He will say something, we're like, oh, that's why the toy says that. And all throughout the movie, if you are a Toy Story fan and you watch them growing up, you're going to get those moments every few minutes, and it had me like, yes, I know it's fan service, but it's warranted fan service, and it works within the context of this film. It's not a Pixar film that is overly creative or one that's going to move you in a way that's never been moved, or you're not going to be like, wow, I never thought a movie could do that. That's not the kind of film that it is. And when you get into the second half of the movie, the crew comes together and there's one specific mission they have to go on. There is about a 25 to 30 minute portion that I wasn't as on board with. I'm like, okay, this is solid, but it's not living up to the first half, and it's not doing what that finale inevitably does, right? You also have the knowledge of the movie coming out during a certain time, and yes, visuals, I'm okay with that because they have to look great, but beyond that, certain story things, I'm like, that's more of a trope from modern day than a trope from the 90s. And then I had questions about certain things. At one point, they're stuck on a planet. They have to use resources. But instead of using resources to build, small buildings and whatnot, they're using resources around the planet to build like a civilization. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, those had to be some pretty incredible resources. Like, I get you had technology on this ship. And then beyond that, I'm thinking to myself, they never reference like the outside world, aka where they came from, where they were headed, if there's more people. So I shouldn't have been asking myself those questions, but I was so fascinated with the world that we got. I was, and I'm like, are there more? Or is this it? You know, it's just that kind of stupid thing. Does it play it a little safe in the second half? Yes. Is it top tier Pixar? No, but it doesn't have to be. So before I give you guys my score, let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to drop that like if you enjoyed this video and come back for a Pixar ranking later on this week. Lightyear does everything a Buzz Lightyear film needs to do. The visuals are excellent, the core characters are likable, and Evans is a great choice. There are more than a few moments that will have fans cheering, and Socks the cat steals the show. Hilarious character. Again, it does kind of what a Buzz Lightyear film needed to do, and that's why I'm going a 78% with my score. Not a revolutionary movie, so don't expect that going in, but a fun, animated space adventure with, again, amazing animation. So let me know your thoughts down below. Are you looking forward to Buzz Lightyear? Are you excited for Chris Evans to play this character? Are we ever getting the Mrs. Nesbitt movie? I'm serious. I need this. Pixar, listen to me. I need a Mrs. Nesbitt origin film. Do you see the hat? I'm Mrs. Nesbitt.